Hi everybody, this is Ashley Roan from ParadigmEnglish.com and the podcast Living in English 365. In episode 89 of my podcast, which I titled The Ultra Simple Way to Learn English Vocabulary, I talked about a technique that you probably have not been using to increase your vocabulary, to learn more words and to grow that vocabulary. Because really, it never hurts, right? So today I wanted to make a video showing you what it is that I mean. So let's get started. If you have not already done so, please do me a really big favor because I know that you are a nice person and very generous. Give this episode a thumbs up and hit subscribe. So in episode 89, I talked about the formal. Let's do formal in blue. As well as the informal. Okay, so these are two types of words that we use in English. Formal words and informal. Informal, of course, is the one that, often gives students a hard time. They get really frustrated, but the formal ones, I think most of you probably have learned. Let's put a smiley face. Yay, happy. So I think most of you understand this. So I am going to give you the task later on of figuring out, right? Figuring out, which means discovering. It's moved up. Figuring out means discovering, learning what these types of words are. And I'm going to give you some examples from the actual podcast episode. Let's talk about formal really fast. Formal words are actually more Latin or Greek words. So let's put scientific. And as I said, Latin-based words or Latinate words. These would be words from French, from Italian or Latin, actually not really Italian, but sometimes Italian, mostly Latin-based words. So I'm going to give you an example. Actually, I already did right here. Discover. So as you can see, discover is the formal word, and the informal word is figuring out. You could say to figure out, depends what you're trying to say. All right? That is really it. So to increase your vocabulary in English, you do need to see exactly what this word is, because most of the words are, if they're formal or scientific or Latin-based, they're going to be Latin-based. Discover, I believe, is definitely Latin-based. It might even be from French. I'm not quite sure. I will have to look up that. If anybody knows the answer, tell me below. Which language is that from, and what is the word discover in your language? That's really cool. Now, let me give you some more examples of this formal and informal from the podcast episode. But anyway, in that episode, I gave you 4 or 5 different words. So let me write them here so that you can see them. So we have cohesive. You can say it with me if you'd like. This is an H, so let me make this longer. Cohesive. 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 Obvious. 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 So we have cohesive and obvious. Number 3, distraught. And the last one, actually the last 2 that we talked about, I'm going to write it like this, was put out or to put out. And number 5 was advocate. 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 This one is the verb form. There is a noun form, when somebody is an advocate, but as you can tell, advocate and advocate are not pronounced the same. The stress is on a different part of the word. And that is actually an episode or video for a completely different day. So these are the 5 words: cohesive, obvious, distraught, put out, and advocate. Why is this one black? Why is number 4 black and not blue? All of our formal words are blue, but the informal one, they were black. Put out actually has many meanings. This is a phrase, so I can think of at least 4 or 5 different, maybe 6 different meanings for this particular word. But in the podcast episode, I did say I put out a new episode. To put out. What do I mean by that? When I say I put out a new episode of the Living in English 365 podcast, every Wednesday it's 6 o'clock a.m. Oklahoma time, because I'm in Oklahoma. Put out. What does that mean? If you need more time to think about it, no problem. Take your time. But I'm going to tell you the formal way to say that would be release. I hope everybody's able to see red and you don't have any vision issues with that. If you do, I'm sorry. Tell me in the comment section below, and I won't use red anymore. All right, so let me tell you a story. In the podcast episode, I did say that I put out a new episode every single week. Yes, every single week, except when I was on vacation in Turkey a few months ago. So don't get distraught if you sometimes see me and there's no like podcast episode out. Don't be distraught. Like, it's still coming. Technology sometimes takes a bit of time, which is obvious. It's technology, things change. Like right now, it's super windy outside, so, you can have some technology issues. And I wish that, people would advocate for things to change, because the internet is way too expensive. And if it's not working, why do I pay all that money, right? So that's just, my argument in this cohesive little bubble, this cohesive, nicely said way. Cohesive, obvious, distraught, put out, and advocate. I want you to do 1, 2, 3, and 5. I want you to figure out what is the informal ways to say cohesive and obvious, distraught, advocate. Find those. More importantly, this is the super bonus one. Tell me at least 3 different meanings or uses of the word put out. Well, it's not really words, or words, phrases, put out. And there you have it. There is your assignment to write the informal uses of the words cohesive, obvious, distraught, and advocate. And if you are feeling especially amazing and you want to double down on your phrasals, hey, listen, here's your super bonus. Number 4, put out. I told you one meaning of that is to release. Tell me at least 3 other different uses of the phrase put out. Oh, geez. Boop, that one. And there you have it. This has been Ashley Roan from ParadigmEnglish.com and the Living in English 365 podcast. If you've enjoyed this video, please share it with somebody and give me a like and subscribe. That's all I have. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.